reading out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnop.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop.
Hey, how you doing? It's Tuesday.
Calling plays like a coach.
Because it says, hello, Tuesday.
From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's played by play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a
I mean, if it said a different day, it might be a different day.
Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin.
Hit us up in the McClellan chat room.
Feel the bark, feel the
Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, T-Bird. Also on the BDST text line at 540-391-0788. Brought to you by Professional Door Incorporated. We broadcast live from our Family Fencing Studios. Morning, Brian. How are you? Marva in Miami, Brian Seigla, and Mike Burnop today. So a Michigan team that's made up of all mercenaries wins the national title. And hey, you got to love that. No, hang on. Let me get the cold treat in before we get started here.
sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders.
It's okay. I didn't watch a single second of the game live. I went back and watched it because it didn't start till after 9.
Lighten up the dark.
Apparently, I didn't miss much. A 69-63 title game. But it is what it is. So that means that the Big Ten is now by far the superior league over the SEC because the Big Ten won the college football championship, the men's college basketball championship, and the women's college basketball championship. The complete sweep. Hang on. He didn't come in before. Now he's ready. animal activity this morning. So, yeah, there you go. Hey, what's up, Opal? Where you been, First Lady? Hope you had a good Easter. From the Tar Heels' fear of rejection, once again, they hired Mike Malone to stop a fan base's mad train. Let the baby blue dollars shower, Mikey, like a summer rain. BDST is live and online. Thanks, Morris. So, yeah, the Big Ten sweeps all the majors, kind of like Tiger Woods when he was good at golf. So, SEC, you're number 2. Go ahead and just enjoy being number 2. You're number 2. How does that feel this morning, Greg Sankey? Michigan wins with 5 transfers, spending over, I don't know, anywhere between 20, 22 million on their roster. Sounds about right where we are in college athletics. Apparently, Tech's getting Hansberry back. I don't know what he cost. But maybe that's why all the other guys were leaving, because they had to give so much of the money to him. But one guy's not going to matter. They need to get several. So there you go. Yeah, I know. It's kind of wild, isn't it, Prometheus, that they ended a 26-year drought? You don't think about the Big Ten. Well, in women's basketball it was, yeah. And here they are. So how was the game? anybody watch the game? Maybe Marva watched it. Marva probably watched it. But I did not. Looking at the score, looking at the stats, it didn't look like it was anything special. A grinder. It was a grinder. So the UCLA women became just the second Big Ten team to ever win a natty, and the men hadn't won one in over 25 years. So who's done a better job of implementing pay for play, Big Ten or the SEC? The Big Ten's last title was what, 2000? Yeah, you're right. 26 years. Wow. Crazy. You think Squirrely Hurley was talking to himself before? Yeah, he's going to need some professional. Yeah, I didn't see any of the pomp and circumstance. And you know what? I think this is just a product of where we are. And I think it's just, you don't realize how much it affects your interest until you're left with that decision. There was a time I would never have dreamed, even if I had to work the next day, that I would not watch the men's national championship game. And last night, it wasn't even a consideration. I got tired. We had down to Y's. We moved stuff, and I got loaded, and I had to come up here, and then you have to do it all by yourself because your son's back at school. So I'm out working until the evening. Then you come in, you're tired, and you eat. As soon as you sit back, you're just like, oh, man, it's 9. Yeah, I'm going to go on to bed. Matter of fact, didn't even turn it on to see the score. And I think you don't realize how much all this affects you. I went back and watched the YouTube highlight package, which is a nice recovery. They do a good job. They put all the stuff together to make it look like it was an exciting game. But I did not have any remorse. It just doesn't matter to me. And I know that sucks as I'm a lifetime sports guy, but it did not matter to me in any way, shape, or form that I watched that game. Now, if it would have started at 7, if it would have started at a human time, 7:30, then yes, I would have probably watched. But Don't care much for either of the teams. I don't dislike them, but I don't, they don't give me any, stuff going on. What happened to UVA women's basketball coach? There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Mental and physical abuse to players and coaches, I've heard. That came out some yesterday. It's going to get worse. Apparently, people were saying that the athletic director, Carly Williams, was aware of everything going on. Finally became too much. This is going to be bad for UVA, I think. If it were a primary sport like football or basketball, then this would already be just exploding. But it does not surprise me a bit with the environment in Charlottesville. From what even my own personal experience, I'm not in any way, shape, or form surprised. Good morning, Christopher Lester. How are you? So the Big Ten sweeps football and both basketballs. SEC, you're number 2. You can sit there and look up and quiver at your mighty dictators at the Big Ten. CBS's coverage, the whole tournament wasn't good. The studio show was a disaster. Nate Burleson should be sent to the moon with the astronauts. He's a terrible, terrible host. The crap they did on the Final Four is getting roasted with the fake Dr. Naismith. I miss Greg Gumbel. I miss James Brown. Professionals who respected what was going on. I mean, Nate Burleson's making dick jokes on the air. They just let that go. I think it's okay now, right? We're in 2026, right? It's okay. You can be on national TV talking about college basketball and make dick jokes. It's okay. And people just, what's wrong with it? You're just old. No, I believe I have professionalism and dignity. Yeah, Nate's terrible. He's terrible. He's just, I don't know how to say it. He's terrible. He's an ass clown. But CBS rolled with it. That was the guy they chose to replace the 2 guys I mentioned. I think if it's not going to be Ernie Johnson Jr. or James Brown, then just anyway. Of course, JB for years has hosted the CBS NFL show. He's one of the best ever. But nah, we don't want that guy to do it. Nah. But yeah, didn't watch. So what'd you think? If you did, what I watched today on the highlights, it looked like a 69-63 grinder. But here we are, toasting the national champs, all 5 starters, transfers. You bought a championship. They didn't do anything wrong. I'm not trying to say they did, but see, this is what I'm talking about. Knowing what they did to get that title, you just kind of like, okay. Like, stop playing one shining moment. So from now on, one shining moment is going to be, I think Brian from Sports Matters said it best. As soon as they do that, they're just going to start showing you how many players in the portal. Then we're going to start seeing payroll numbers projected for next season. Change one shining moment. Change it to something that honestly represents what's going on today in college athletics. By the way, here I'm going to do it again. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel, by the way. I saw, 2 or 3 different major accounts on X, writers, publications, talking about what we've been talking about for months. How much more are fans going to consider donating now that money is coming in from other entities to pay players. One of the headlines was, why would donors continue to donate? Didn't we ask this question? How long have we been talking about that here on the show? How long? 4, 5 months? Glad to see everybody else catching up. Like, why in the world would you have money and go, oh boy, I can't wait to add this to the cash pile? What are you accomplishing? You're not making a difference anymore with the rev share. This isn't like before when you were trying to help out a program because they really needed all of your dollars. Like what? Prometheus says, I wouldn't even consider the SEC at second. They didn't even make the championships in either football or basketball. Correct. Remember when Bear Bryant died? Doctors recommended his widow move to Blacksburg. They weren't as far away from football as she could get. Times change, he says. Yeah. And that's the question you have to ask yourself. It's your money, but are you still getting excited about dropping that money in? Remember, I was told by someone high up at Tech, it's just a money laundering scheme. Take that for what it's worth. And the more I read and the more I see, and I see all these articles, things we've talked about, I'm like, I think that's the most honest assessment I've heard of all this. People have asked, what does he mean? Well, look up money laundering. Money laundering centers around the access and redistribution of dollars and then lying about said amounts of money. So good luck. Enjoy. Marva's going to join us. Michael Malone. Now, listen, you can sit there all you want, Carolina fan, and you can try to tell yourself, hey, this is an out of box. This is a really good hire. Yes, sir. People down Chapel Hill are playing chess. No, you're really not. So here's a list of folks. If you don't want to say they declined the UNC job like the moronic Jeff Goodman, you can. But these are people that turned down interview requests. T.J. Otzelberger got an extension at Iowa State. Tommy Lloyd got an extension at Arizona. Dusty May at Michigan. Ben McCollum was called over the weekend. If anybody wants to believe that Michael Malone was the number one choice or somebody they had on the back burner, they called Ben McCollum over the weekend. This has been confirmed by 2 or 3 sources. That's the Iowa head coach, and he turned them down. He didn't want to leave Iowa to go to the crap show that is UNC. Brad Stevens, they called. He just kind of said, I'm good. I'm good here in the Celtics front office. I'm good. I'm not stressed at all, and I'm making a lot more money. Rick Pitino, that name came up. I don't know how serious that one was, but he immediately signed an extension too as soon as he was connected to the job. And then, of course, Nate Oates, who apparently turned down an interview. I didn't even know he was asked. So Carolina hires Michael Malone, who got fired coaching the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. He won 1 title with the Nuggets. Fell out of favor so quickly, they fired him before the end of a season. And now he's the guy that's going to come down to Chapel Hill, and he's going to resurrect North Carolina's program. Looking forward to getting Marva's take on this. Now, look, you can have your fan team-colored glasses on all you want all the time and act like everything's great and everything they do is awesome. But you cannot honestly sit there as a Carolina fan and think, boy, this was really good. They got their guy. No, they didn't. So you're bringing in another pro coach. How's that gone for the football program? What has that done for the reputation of that university? And now you're bringing in Michael Malone, who has to come in and try to learn quickly about how much money they're going to have can he parlay this into success? Can he figure out how to deal with younger players as opposed to older players and money? And how can he handle the Carolina culture? And apparently, it's a feel-good story, I'm told, because his daughter's a volleyball player at North Carolina. Aww. Yeah, the Big Ten. Big Ten's the power league. Big Ten's it. Big Ten's number one. SEC, you're not. Just shut up. You can keep toting it all you want to, but it's the Big Ten's world right now. They want it all. You can't dispute it. They want it. They want everything. The SEC fans gonna, no, we're still number one. How? What? What tells you that? Because you tell yourself that? Because you have a loudmouth commissioner? T-Bird, they could have had Seth Greenberg if they ponied up. Yeah, he needed that extra $500 a week. But we'll see what Marva says. I'm sure Marva will be on board with it. Most Carolina fans are trying to convince themselves this is a great hire. But that's a lot of people to be turned down by. Of course, you're having a shift there with the athletic director. It just means more, Brian says. That's right. If it just means more in the SEC, what can the Big Ten now create as a new moniker, right? Hey, we're the ones who win championships. And what this creates amongst the UNC fan base, as soon as things struggle, as soon as they lose out on contracts for players that they're going after other schools, as soon as things go in the crapper, Malone's not a great PR guy. He always came across weird in his interviews with the Nuggets. Then the fans are going to turn very, very quickly, like they have on the football program. All I know is I heard that when they hired Bill Belichick, I was hearing, oh, wow, this might be a little unusual, but wow, you're getting a Hall of Fame coach. This is going to – and then he brings his, 20-year-old girlfriend with him. And it's just been nothing but chaos. Now, Malone doesn't have that baggage, at least that we know about. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I just think when you're bringing a former pro coach into college environment, even though it's professional sports now, it'll be interesting to see if he can handle it, especially at a place like that. And we're talking about the blue blood of the sport. Be different if Malone was going somewhere else first. But you're going to go straight in. I mean, those NBA guys, we'll see. It's not like anybody was knocking down his door once he got canned by the Nuggets. It's not like any of his players, by the way, even Jokic rallied around him when he got fired. And now he's going to go and fit in at the collegiate level. We'll see. We'll see. By the way, congratulations to my friend and Notre Dame assistant, Kyle Getter, who yesterday evening was named the new head coach at NCAA participant, California Baptist. That's two of Mike Jones' disciples now, Donnie Lynn at Mount St. Mary's, and now Coach Getter at Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist was a 13 seed, and they gave Kansas all they wanted in the first round. Congratulations to Coach Getter, and we'll see if I can get him on the show here. Great guy. Great coach. Get a chance to hire that guy. You got to hire that guy. And Cal Baptist jumped all over it. It's good. It's good. He will do a nice job there. He will do a really nice job there. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Awesome stuff. Awesome, awesome stuff. Our BDST text line. I'm catching up. People were texting me during the game last night that I didn't watch. Sorry. That's brought to you by Professional Door, by the way. Thanks to the NRV Super Bowl. Thanks to Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel. Mention Family Fencing and McClellan Chiropractic and Professional Door Incorporated, sponsor of our text line. We're presented every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Thanks to them. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Somebody reached out to me again yesterday about Little River. Charles Lee, he's the best. Our BDST fan question of the week. We need one today. What we got? What do we have coming up? 701 West Main Street in Radford. Hey, you know what? Let's get your Masters predictions. How's that? Who's going to win the Masters? Let's go. That'll be our BDST fan question of the week. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of me and this show. ReadySetFund.com and Sundown Electric down in Elliston, one of the most honest businesses around. Thanks to all those folks. So we'll talk to Marva here in just a little bit. Let me send her the invite in case she wants to jump on. I'm sure she's going to be eager to gobble up everything Michael Malone here. But there you go, North Carolina, your seventh choice. A guy who was fired and had a chance to coach Nikola Jokic. All right. I always send Marva 2 invites because she's so, she's so bossy. She needs both invites. I did, Richie Davis. How about that? See, Richie, our BDST legal counsel, he's proud of me right now because I brought up and how about that, Richie? The Masters is our BDST fan question of the week, brought to you by the other attorney, Ryan Pry. Look, I don't want you two battling, okay? We appreciate the support from the attorney, Ryan Pry, but you're always our BDST legal counsel. Who's going to win the Masters? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to make a concerted effort. I don't know. I got to look at my game schedule. I mean, if I'm stuck calling stick and ball all weekend, you can't watch any of it. It's hard to get into it. But if I'm around and I have a chance, I'm going to try to get more into it this year. See if I can grasp the birds chirping, the greenery, Amen Corner, and all those things. I'm going to see if I can maybe just get more into it this year. We'll see. We'll see. Hansberry's back for Tech. I'm assuming since Hammond hasn't left, they're going to give him a big deal as well. I don't know what the money's like for Hammond. We'll see if Brian Seigla knows. It's got to be pretty substantial. And I don't know how much new money's coming in. And I don't know how they're going to fortify the rest of the roster. We'll see. For men's hoops. We'll find out. We'll find out. But Hansberry coming back, we'll see. We'll see how he does. It had to be a pretty substantial. It's one of two things. Tech knocked his socks off with the deal and met his demands, or he didn't get the kind of offers that he was hoping to get. It's one of the two. Because that's all it comes down to is money. That is it. That is it. Like Michigan, who's all won a natty. Hey, it was well invested money, right? All 5 transfers. $20 million got you a national championship. The first Masters without Phil Mickelson or Tiger Woods since 94. Wow, that's depressing. Really? 40 years? Wow. No, wait a minute. 30 years. 30 years. No, it's math. 36 years. No, 32 years. 32 years. Okay, that sounds better. 32 years. Like I know Rory's a star. There's no okay, this is the whole thing for me. I don't have anybody that I root for. There's not a guy that I care about. Scotty Scheffler, maybe. When they split and did the whole live nonsense, that ended it for me. So I'm just hoping, I don't care who it is. I just hope we have, like, if I'm watching some this weekend, I hope on Sunday there's like 3 or 4 guys that are all battling. That'd be cool. That's right. And that's kind of what it feels like for me. I'm not invested. These guys don't have personalities outside of the golfing world. There's nothing there. I mean, there's nobody that you see that you watch an interview with that you go, wow, that guy. I mean, if you're a golfer, you probably have a different take. I'm just talking about the outside world. Then again, they don't need the money. Jack Nicklaus. Good call, Wayne. The Golden Bear. The days, all those days growing up. Jack and Arnie. Remember Chichi Rodriguez, Tom Watson. Grew up watching all those guys. Man, oh man. And Greg Norman came in. Freddie Couples. All those guys. And then here comes L.T. Gray, Mickelson. And now who do we have today? I mean, Rory. Yeah, you have to enjoy playing the game to really get into golf. Morris, that's well said, better than I could have said it. If you are really into playing and you know all the nuances about what the guys are going through because you're out there, whether you're a weekend warrior, then you appreciate it. But if you don't, and there's not a Tiger Woods type of personality around, it kind of just falls into the backdrop. So yeah. So we'll see. But I appreciate the tradition of it in every way. I do. I appreciate the honor of it, kind of what Marty was talking about last Monday, the vibe. I do. Anyone watch the virtual reality golf in arenas? No, I haven't seen any of that either. T-Bird says, I have to disagree. I enjoy the interviews, the new talent, the competition, and the lack of circus sideshow BS. Well, they've got the circus high show sideshow with the live tour, but I guess all that's kind of just fallen away now. So what's the rules now? Can all the live guys play on the PG tour and vice versa? Did they get rid of all that? Remember how it was like, which one are you going to be, PGA or live? What are you going to be? What? It's an individual sport. Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, the skill level to play it is beyond anything I could ever accomplish. It's not about the skill of it. It's not only the physical skill, it's the neck up skill to deal with it. So all that I understand. I learned all that at an early age watching Jack Nicklaus jump around from major to major with my dad. But now, Just like everything else. I mean, it's all changed. It's all changed. And it's hard to be a traditionalist when you have the whole sellout of the Live Tour and all that. I mean, I don't even know. Does the Live Tour even have a national TV deal? Like, I never see Live tournaments on TV. Like, do they even have, like, do they still have the same golfers, or do they all go back to PGA? It's hard to be an underwater basket weaver as well. I think Prometheus and I have the same mindset toward it. I think the one thing that annoys me, these guys, this is all they do. They're the best in the world. They probably play golf. Well, there's 365 days in the year. They probably play golf 330 days a year. They're at the highest level. They have the best equipment, blah, blah, blah. They have, their caddy. They have coaches. They have all this stuff, and they'll hit a shot in the tournament, and they'll act, the announcers will act like it's the greatest thing they've ever seen, even though they saw the same shot of the prior hole. It's a little different type of announcing. Be like watching a football game early on Sunday. Oh, a 27-yard touchdown pass. I mean, did you see the way he threw that right into the receiver's hands? And did you see it again and again and again? Yeah, absolutely. I'd watch professional pinball. Yeah, no doubt. If you had a way to sit there and, yeah, that would be on all the time. Yeah, but they do have their commercials, T-Bird. But don't they do split screen now? Don't they leave the tournament up depending on where you're watching? Don't they do that more now? Because you can't have guys hold up in golf like you would in a football game, right? Because if a guy's in a rhythm and you've got a time to play, right, there are rules. You can't just say, oh, hey, before you go to the – hey, listen. Before you take that wedge shot, we're going to break away for 2 minutes. We're going to go sell some cars and some investment firm opportunities. Hang on. It's golf. It's got to be, yacht sales, timeshares on private islands. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. You can't listen. No, you can't take that 30-foot putt yet. You wait till we come back from the break. So I don't think there's that kind of thing in golf. So you're right about that. That's what I hear from a lot of people who aren't fans, T-Bird. They like to have golf on because of the sounds, and it's a really good put me to sleep type of thing. If you're just kind of in chill mode and you hear the birds and you hear, all right, here we go now. We're going to approach the 14th tee. Scotty Scheffler really needs to come on here. He has struggled the last 2 holes. Yeah, his irons have not been kind to him today. He seems very inconsistent with his length. Then you hear the birds chirping. Even the music they play. It's almost like it's intentional. It's just intentional therapy. I could play pro golf. You don't know how good I am at golf class. Good. That's good to hear. So the Masters pretty much dictates what the networks are going to do. I like that. Good. That I really like. I respect that. That's good. Somebody just said, who you like better, Vern Lundquist or Nance? Vern Lundquist every day of the year. Vern was the best. Not even close, in my opinion. I'm a little tired of the whole Nance. They always do the same impersonation of him. But I love Vern. Vern was the Masters to me. Now, it might be before a lot of people's time. But Richie, if you're still around, what do you like? You like Vern or Nance better? Man, I loved Vern. Vern was great. Vern was great. He was good at everything he did, but he really shined during the Masters. What subscriptions do you need to watch golf? By the way, did you see this that I posted? I mean, let me find this again. I posted this, and a lot of people were just, this is why I don't watch the NBA anymore, the NFL anymore. Here you go. In order to watch every NFL game for the 2026 season, you need 10 different streaming subscriptions. 10. Netflix, Prime, NFL Network, Peacock/NBC, Fox, CBS, ESPN Plus, Paramount Plus, YouTube TV, and Sunday Ticket. Roger Goodell, baby. Joining us now on the program. Oh, wait a minute. You're not wearing your celebratory Michael Malone Carolina Blue Hire clothing today. Wow.
No, this is just a spring color, Rick. It has no commentary on Mike Malone. You are the one who actually delivered this news to me yesterday. I was busy working, and I got this text from you.
I'm always thinking about you, Marva.
I appreciate it. And when I saw that, as I mentioned you by text, it reminded me of a story I had read over the weekend where it was the whole, you know how they build stories now around podcasts. So Tyler Hansborough had appeared on a podcast, and he mentioned Mike Malone's name as a possible candidate. And he talked about the fact that his daughter plays volleyball for UNC, so he's kind of been around the program. And since then, I've read that Hubert Davis even had allowed him to come in, see practices and things like that. So I hadn't heard about this before. I mean, I had heard about his daughter playing there, but when this first happened, I still didn't think about his name immediately. So I'm just trying to keep an open mind about it. Let's see how it goes. It might be great. It might not be great, but I'm just trying, it is now the off season. I'm trying to keep an open mind. I wish they had been able to hire someone earlier because, as you know, the portal, we're looking at the portal and trying to retain players. And so it's a tough time. You kind of want someone who could have gotten a running start on that. But again, the coaches they were going after, a couple of them, we saw them play in the championship game last night. So even if they had been able to secure one of them, that doesn't mean that you still hit the ground running like you would like to in a situation like this.
Does this tell us that even though they are the bluest of blue bloods, that it's not the job we think it is, with all these other folks turning it down? They tried to get involved with the Iowa coach over the weekend, and he said no, flat out just said, no, I'm not interested. That blew me away, and that's a true story because he actually confirmed that. And then they go to Michael Malone. So I don't know where he was on the pecking order, but apparently he was all that was left, and they didn't want to wait on Billy Donovan. If you're going to go NBA guy.
Yeah, because they were saying he would not make any decisions until their season was over. Yeah. And that's a long time. I mean, I don't see how Carolina could possibly wait that long. So I again, Rick, cautiously optimistic, but also I think those coaches who were playing last night, they both need to thank Carolina for even mentioning their names because they were able to negotiate big salary increases through that and some guarantees.
Very true.
They wanted. Yeah. So yeah, they should be thanking Carolina every time they, cash those checks.
That's a good point. I mean, they would have had to pony up anyway if they won the title. Lloyd was going to get a bump anyway, but you're right. You're right. I think it probably felt like Lloyd was going to be the guy until maybe last minute changes. It kind of the comments he made after he signed his extension, I think that was the closest one of your pursuit, to be honest with you. Maybe Donovan. I don't think May was as serious as people tried to make it look like. But yeah, so there you go. You got your guy now, Michael Malone.
Yeah, I'm going to embrace him. I'm keeping an open mind, see what he brings to the table and see how it goes. He seems to be a well-respected guy. Let's just see, Rick. I'm not going to be. There are already people saying, no, Carolina's never going to make a Sweet 16 even again. There are people who are ready to jump off the ledge, and I'm just like, let's just give the guy a chance and see what he does.
I think if you didn't have the mess on the football side, this wouldn't be under the kind of scrutiny that it's under.
Oh yeah, I mean
right.
That is everybody's saying, "Oh, look how that turned out." But again, I am even trying to. I've told you, Rick. I'm trying to keep hope alive that the football season this coming up season is going to be better than last. I mean, it can't be worse.
It's got to be. It's got to be better. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it can't. It can. There's no way it can be worse. Okay. If it's worse, I'm gonna have to put a paper bag over my head when I come on here.
If it's worse,
he's got to be fired.
Either that or he would walk away, don't you think? If they go in and win like 3 more games or something like that, go 3 or 4 and 8, don't you think at that point he'll just give up? He's going to be 74 years old. Why would he continue to ruin his legacy like that?
I think he would. Or maybe it's one of those things where we came to a mutual decision rather than to say he was fired. But, I mean, again, if it's not any better, he does have to go. And I hope it's better, and I hope there's not this big circus around it again with Jordan. Again, I know I'm going to say her name and somebody's going to share the latest story that I've missed because I've been trying to avoid her. But yeah, we just don't need that. And when you shared the information with me, I shared it with some of my friends and they're like, as long as he doesn't have a teenage girlfriend, we're going to
We're gonna meet his 20-year-old assistant.
So yeah, let's just give him a chance, and I think it'll be interesting to see what he does with his assistants. A few
better be strong. Better be a strong.
Yeah,
staff.
I think they'll be strong, and I think we talked about last time. Some of the younger Carolina coaches, Wes Miller has taken them for UNC Charlotte. So. I think he may, I don't know. What do you do? Do you bring in all new guys? Do you see if you can retain some of the other assistants? I don't know. We talked about Matt Doherty last time, and one of the things he did when he came in was he got rid of all the assistants. And that just rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And you see how his tenure there ended. So I don't know. We'll see what he does. Again, I am keeping an open mind. I'm hopeful that he's going to come in and that he's going to be able to, that his NBA experience may impress some young kids. That's their ultimate goal. He's been there, he's done it. He won a championship there. And so maybe that will impress them, and we'll see. Just these days, you just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. That's a very good point. By the way, I don't know the answer. How did UNC football recruit? What kind of portal haul did they get? I don't even know.
Well, I don't pay. I have to admit, I don't pay a lot of attention to it in the season. I really don't, because you just hear somebody's name and then it ends up it doesn't really work out, and then you're all disappointed. So I don't know, but like the last I heard, it seemed like they were doing pretty well. But again, I think until you actually see those guys on the field and see how they have been able to gel and how things really go, you just don't. No.
You know what the perfect irony was, and people pointed out last night, the portal officially opened. Hi, how are you down there in Florida?
Oh, you heard that? Yeah. I think that's a bus. My neighbor's kid.
Oh, okay.
Bus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last night, the game, this is why I didn't stay up. Apparently, they played one shining moment exactly at midnight. Oh. Like it hit. And that's officially when the transfer portal opened up.
Interestingly enough, I did not watch the game live last night. I taped it because I had some stuff going on with the kids, and then I got up later and watched the game. So I'm watching the game. Honestly, it's like 12:30. I turned it on, I watched the game. And I taped the whole thing. I hope that it caught one shining moment because I love watching that every year. But I was like, if I miss it, I'll catch it on YouTube. So
it used to be great. Yeah, it used to mean so much. Now, it's not the same.
I still love it. I still like to see it. But I will make sure I see it. And I thought the game was pretty good. I mean, we've seen Michigan dominate throughout the tournament. And, UConn did give them a fight, but still, they're just too strong. They're just too strong. And, I mean, they were both going at it really hard in terms of defense.
What I was hoping was we'd wake up to some kind of, not necessarily confrontation, but to see something that Hurley had done, like some kind of weird stuff. But it didn't happen, apparently.
Well,
he was actually... He's
kind of weird guy, but...
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
He is an interesting person. I think that's where people like that. Interesting.
Wayne says one of these recruiting services has Carolina at number 13 in their portal hall. So there you go.
Good.
Well, I'm sure that this is done by a service that's not seen 98% of the players that Carolina signed. But hey, let's just give them 13.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I have heard some chirping, Rick. I will admit this on the air, that Carolina's going to be a championship contender. I've heard some chirping about that.
You have?
Yeah.
You've heard chirping?
Yeah.
Well, you must have woken up in the middle of the night then. Oh, wait a minute. It was a dream, wasn't it? It was just a dream.
No, I got up in the middle of the night to watch the game. It's just, there's stuff going on with my kids at that time. And I just wanted them to get settled in. And I wanted to be able to watch it without anybody interrupting me. So that's why I taped it and watched it in the middle of the night. And then after I watched it, I went back to bed. So.
Is it wrong? I mean, you just did the same thing I did. So I didn't watch. I didn't even consider it. It was like now after 9, I'm like, I had a long day getting some stuff back here from my son's dorm. I'm like, so you and I both missed the game live, and none of us, you or I, didn't care. We're just like, okay, we don't have to watch.
I wanted to watch it, but it's nice to be able to, you tape it. You can watch it without commercials. You don't have, I usually enjoy the halftime show, but because of the expediency of it, I just fast forwarded through the halftime show because I just wanted to watch it as quickly as possible. So yeah, I mean, let's say if Carolina had been playing it, I would have watched it live, right?
Sure.
Yeah, even though I know the kids would have been interrupting, because my husband actually did watch it, and so he just didn't tell me what happened. So that's just the situation we are in, Rick. We can't stay up that late. No. And we can't be interrupted. I mean, I know you don't have that situation with your son because he's old enough. He's probably off doing his own thing. But my kid would have found a way to interrupt me, and I couldn't really watch it and enjoy it the way I wanted to. So I'm just going to tape it, and I'll watch it.
Yeah, I watched the condensed version this morning. I was just like, okay, I didn't miss much, did I? It was just like, okay. Well,
I mean, it was a bit of a slog, right? They were so.
Yeah, it was what it was. What'd you think about the women's side? UCLA destroys Dawn Staley's
Oh my
squad.
gosh, they are so good. Like, I hadn't watched them before, and even in the Final Four, I didn't watch their game. Like, I watched UConn, South Carolina, and I didn't watch UCLA's game against was it Texas, because I had some stuff going on. I said I won't watch this, and wow, I was really blown away by how strong they were and how tall they were. And, I was thinking about what is South Carolina going to do now? And I think they will realize they've got to get bigger and they've got to get stronger. And I mean, I'm sure that, Coach Staley's working on that now, but it was interesting because it felt like to me that UCLA did to South Carolina what South Carolina did to UConn. And so I thought that was interesting to watch. And my daughter, throughout this tournament, she's gotten really into South Carolina women's basketball. Okay. So she's been watching games and she was so devastated in the chat. She's like, is there any chance they can come? I said, well,
no.
I said, well, it's possible. I didn't want to totally dash her hopes and dreams. I said, it's possible, but it's kind of unlikely. We'll see what happens. Cause you got to watch the game, and then when it didn't happen, she was very disappointed. And she's like, well, when do they get to play again? Like next season.
Yeah, it's
like everybody else next season. So, but I was happy to see her get involved and interested in watching that because she hasn't really shown that much interest before. And I think in just watching the other games in the tournament and seeing how they were playing and seeing how they were very dominant, that, she became a fan. And it's women's basketball. So, I'm okay with that. I understand that. I'm trying to raise them the right way. So they're going to grow up to be the true Carolina fans. So, I'm allowing this because it's women's basketball. I'm allowing it. But she has to understand, if Carolina women are playing the South Carolina women, she has to go for the right team. So I'm still happy that that's her first kind of taste of really being interested in it. And so hopefully it will grow.
What'd you think of the Geno Staley thing? How about that?
I've never been a big Geno fan. Like, this goes back to the Pat Summitt days. I've not been a big fan of his. To me, the whole thing, it was just so funny because the things he was saying, they could be refuted by video. And so that's what made it bad. Like, he was saying Sarah Strong, they ripped her jersey. And everybody who had watched on TV said, oh, no, she actually ripped her own jersey. I don't know what that was. I've never seen a player rip their own jersey before. I don't know what that was about. And, there are some more cynical people saying, oh, it was some kind of ploy to put on 55 because that's how many wins. And I was like, I just didn't believe that. I just thought that was just going a step too far. I don't try not to jump on the conspiracy theory. I still don't know what it was about, though. And of course, there's some people who say, well, maybe a South Carolina player partially ripped it, and then she ripped it the rest of the way to do a change. I said, well, maybe. I don't know. It's just not something that I've seen. And the situation with, she didn't shake hands. They showed like she did go over there and she shook it. They actually hugged. It was so weird. And she shook hands with his assistants, and some of them she hugged.
Well, I think that was last year.
No. That was not last year. She did that this time. There's video of it. She did that. And so, but they did show right before tip off. That's when she didn't shake his hand. She was in a huddle with her team and she didn't shake his hand. And then, he had the rant in the press conference, have you seen these games? People always do it. And, oh, wow.
School bell. It's a school bell.
I just got a text. My daughter, my husband's taking my daughter to school, and she has my husband's phone. So a text goes through. I am not going to like Carolina. Yeah, it's just tween rebellion. That's what that is. Okay,
you're getting it already. Yep, preteen. Is she a teenager? She's not a teenager.
No, she's 12. She turned 12 in February.
Oh, get ready, because as soon as that, I'm telling you, as a guy who had a daughter, as soon as it switches, that's not a lie. It's not a lie.
I mean, she let me know when she turned 12 that she's been letting me know for a while that she's not a child anymore. She's a preteen, and I've tried to explain to her that preteens are still children. Like, I don't. But anyway. We're getting off track here. Yes, when he said that always happens, and it made me question, because I'm like, I don't remember that happening. I don't know, but I said, maybe I'm just not paying attention when the game starts. And then I saw a sports reporter who's covered women's basketball for a while came out and said, usually this happens and they make a big deal about it in the championship game and they do announce it. And I said, whoa, I didn't know that. But she said, they may not do that in the Final Four, but it's been in the championship game. Because he even said, if you watched his interview with Holly Rowe, he said, this is for the championship. And I didn't think anything of that because I thought, well, yes, you play in the Final Four to get to the championship. That's what I was thinking. And then there's some people saying, well, was he confused? And I don't know. When he walked off, and he didn't do the final handshake line, he walked off. I don't know. It wasn't a good look.
Well, she didn't handle herself well either. She's not this saint. She's not this saint.
No. I mean, nobody. I don't think she's
not a great person. I mean, she's just not.
I wouldn't say she's not a great person. I think she's done wonderful things for women's basketball.
Do a little digging in some of the comments she's made about people.
I think she's done wonderful things for women's basketball, and I think she's built up that South Carolina team in a incredible way. When
that whole thing about wanting to kick Geno's.
Yes. I mean, I think, like I said, she can be a fiery personality. Like, there's a lot of
no. Hang on, no. You can't just condone it on one side. It's the same thing. And
I'm not. I'm.
She's just fiery. You can't.
Well, she is.
Come on, it'd be like somebody saying Geno's just fiery.
Well,
no, they were both little.
Rick, if Geno had won that game, do you think he would even talk about the fact that she didn't shake his hand if he had won that game? He's like, I lost. Not only did he lose, he got beat down in an embarrassing way,
at all.
And then he was a bad sport about it. Like
no condoning at all what he did. No, he made himself look terrible. He did.
And he's been like that. Like, this is nothing new. I don't know. Like
but
it reminded me of some of the stuff that went on when he was fighting it out with Pat Summitt. It was just again, I'm not a big Gino fan, so
so you've got a bias, so you can't come at this with an honesty.
Well, no, I mean, I can
this
be
was wrong with the media today, right?
No, I can be objective. If she had come out, if she had been the one standing there, and then she was like ranting and raving that he didn't do this to her, I would say, as much as I don't like him, like I would still say that would be wrong. I just feel like he kind of walked off, and he kind of looked like this older man that was, I don't know, maybe he sees his position. He's ruled women's basketball for a very long time. He's done some incredible things. Like, he ran down his resume during the press conference. He didn't discuss the things that he got wrong, but of course he ran down his resume. Nobody asked him that. Right. But he's like, he wanted everybody to remember,
We'll just say they're both hugely unlikable people.
Okay. I disagree. I don't see Dawn Staley being unlikable.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Wayne says, does your daughter want to wear Gucci like Dawn? Yeah, she doesn't wear her team logo.
No, she's not really into stuff like that. I mean, maybe that might come later.
You're going to make an excuse for anything Dawn Staley does, aren't you? That's ridiculous to sit there and not wear your team's colors in the national championship game and wear some kind of designer brand.
I don't think that's a big deal. I think that's like much ado about nothing. I mean, look at her. Look at her record. I just don't think what she wears matters. I mean, we've got.
If a North Carolina coach showed up wearing nothing with no Carolina stuff, you'd just be like, "Oh, that's cool."
I mean, I think
yes or no? Yes or no?
A little bit different with men.
No, it's not. Yes or no?
Yeah, I think they will usually wear a tie or something, but he doesn't have to come out there in like a Roy. Like, do you remember Roy used to have like a checkered suit that was? It was like,
yeah, but that was different.
That was in modern times. I'm not talking about like he did this so long ago. He was famous for these kind of wacky out there suits. Okay, I mean, I don't mean like
he had cool Carolina ties though. Remember,
yes,
he'd wear like
he did, and so did Hubert. But what I was going to talk about coaches' attire is that when we had the pandemic, and then everybody went to kind of wearing warm-ups, and I think it was even dictated they had to wear those. I don't really know.
It was a fake demic. Let's get that right. Yeah, it was
a what? No, it was.
Yeah, it was a fake.
I don't play about the pandemic because so many people died. Like, I don't think that's funny.
It's not funny, but they didn't die because of that. Come on.
No, a lot of people died.
Come on.
Rick, they had pre-existing conditions. A lot of people died.
Okay.
I just don't play. I don't.
Okay.
I like.
I want to know everything we was told about that. We found out it's not true. I want to know how much of it was actual because of the actual.
I don't. Yeah, I don't do that. That's
okay. I want to see the numbers of the actual cause of it.
I don't do that. A lot of people.
Let's just do the great experiment with the world and see how. We can make everybody believe everything we want.
Well, too many people die. Like, I don't think I don't play around with people's lives like that. I seriously, I don't. I joke about a lot of stuff, but not that.
Okay. All right. All I know is this: if North Carolina, say Bill Belichick came out wearing something that she made for him, you wouldn't be happy with that, right? If it didn't have Carolina on it.
I don't know. I would think that was kind of odd, but I mean, I wouldn't think it was a big deal. It was a little odd, though. I would admit it's a little odd.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. What do you think the future of women's basketball is? It seems like, I don't know, because of stuff like that overshadowed the game. The WNBA is what it is. Do you think it's going to have a chance to bounce back? It seems like it's falling down.
I still think it's going to be strong. I mean, I still think there's a generation coming up who's very excited. There's some really talented players out there, and it's just people maybe, due to custom or whatever, they're not watching it as much, or maybe they don't have a team. But if you have a team that you pull for on the men's side, I don't see there's any reason for you not to, pull for your women's team as well. And we've seen like what happened with UVA, like what an infusion of cash can do, where they went farther than people thought. Now, of course, they're going to have to get a new coach in and see what's going to happen there. But I think you're going to start to see the investment necessary to bring these programs up, and maybe it won't always be the same programs. There are going to be other programs making noise. And I know on Carolina's side, Carolina's women's been to the Sweet 16 twice. Every time Carolina comes up against Powerhouse, this time it was UConn. I will say Carolina did win the first quarter of that. I always have to mention that. But after that, it was just dominance by the Huskies. But I just have to feel that this is going to happen, that people want to see it. And it's going to take, though, the investment. It's going to take the investment. And because there are some amazing players, if you take the time to watch and to learn, and you may be impressed by what you see. But of course, we talked about this before. There are going to be some people that just never going to watch it, never going to be into it. It's going to make like rude comments. I mean, I see the comments on the stories, seventh grade boys team could beat them, like talking about. And that's just so ridiculous. And that comes from a place, I guess, of insecurity, misogyny, whatever. But if you really watch, you'll see there are some very talented players, and you will, if you really like basketball, you will be impressed with some of what you see.
The Final Four wasn't good basketball for the women, either game.
Yeah, they were like not very competitive. They were not. But some of the comments are misogynistic, though. I'm not saying that those were good games.
Like
some of the things that people say, like that, like seventh grade boys team could beat them. I said I'd like to see that.
Well,
I mean, these are people sitting on their couches who haven't done anything athletically since they were in high school, maybe middle school, that are talking about, elite athletes that way. They would not do that on the men's side. Nobody's saying, oh, Michigan, seventh grade team could beat them. Nobody's saying that. It doesn't make any sense. And they're just, they don't have any respect for women, period. And they don't have any respect for women athletes.
Wow. You're taking this to all sorts of levels today.
If they don't, then just don't watch. Like you don't have to, rain on other people's parade and make ridiculous comments. And we still see those.
Hang on.
Of people who feel that way.
Well, hang on. Everybody's got a right to an opinion.
Well, yes, they do. Even if
you might disagree with the opinion. I disagree with a lot of the things I hear, but everybody has a right for an opinion.
Oh, I did not. I never said they didn't. I don't
know. Well, you're putting them. You're saying if they have this certain opinion you disagree with, this is the type of person they are.
Well, I'm saying that people who say I'm just using that one as an example. I'm just using that one as an example. If you say something like that, and if you believe something like that, it shows that you don't have respect like that, because that is like a height of disrespect to say these are top players, very talented, and to say that, seventh grade boys team could beat them.
Who said that? I didn't see that. Who said that?
No, it's just some random person. This is not like a prominent person.
Who cares?
But what I care though, when you see any story about like women's sports, if you're not interested, again, just don't read it. But then there are always these kinds of comments. They always follow them. And it's just very disrespectful. And, as a woman myself, as someone who has a daughter, I don't appreciate it that they have to contend with this. And I'm just saying there's a contingent. I'm not saying they're the majority, but they're very loud. They're loud, and they're loud with their disrespect. And they just, again, if you look into the backgrounds, and I haven't done that, but if you look, I'm sure that you're not going to find a bunch of impressive things that they've done, athletically. But
wow, you're making a lot of assumptions about people you don't even know. Wow.
Well, I'm just saying, Rick, does that make sense to you? Do you think that's true? Like, do you think that that would happen?
I don't know any of the people that supposedly made these comments.
No. I'm talking about what they said, that, seventh grade team could beat them. Do you think that's true? Do you think that?
No. Well, I didn't see the comment. I don't know who said it, but fans say stupid stuff all the time.
They do. Right? But they say especially rude things about women athletes. They just do.
Wow.
They do.
Okay. I just know when you can look with two eyes, whether it's men, whether it's women, you can see bad basketball.
Yeah,
the Final Four.
No, it wasn't. It was not competitive. It was not. It wasn't the competitive games that we were hoping to see.
Yeah, it was just bad basketball.
I can say that. Yeah. But the teams that won those games, the teams that won, And the team
UCLA
that
changed it. Yeah,
championship.
UCLA went to
Very
that
good.
horrible.
Like they're
It
very
was 30. It was 31-28 going into the fourth quarter.
very.
On Friday. It was weird, and then they come out.
It was weird. It was weird, and it was. But if you watch them play, see these women. They're very talented. And if you look at even last night, the score at the halftime might have not have been. It was kind of low. And these things tend to not be as high scoring because people really amp up their defense. They do. I mean, it's I wouldn't say, I wouldn't call it bad basketball. It's just it is what it is in the championship. And there was still some phenomenal, like I was impressed with I was impressed by the number of blocks that Michigan had. Like I was thinking, well, wow, they're really showing their talented team, which I had seen throughout the tournament watching them play. It was just, the way they were, moving the ball around, the way they were, contesting everything. Again, I was very impressed by blocks. I like blocks. So I was happy.
I just think you got to be careful the path you were going down. If somebody says something you disagree with, you can't all of a sudden just throw. This is what's wrong with the world and politics today, and why we're split down the middle. If you agree with one side, all of a sudden that's a terrible person if you disagree, and vice versa. Instead of
I'm not saying,
ground.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if someone,
right?
I know people say,
and that's the whole point.
And so, but I just said that level of disrespect, which you may not be aware of, or you may not notice because you're not looking at.
No, I hear. I kind of work in athletics. I think I know about.
Yes, you do. But I mean, I just think you may see it through a different lens, and it's just very disrespectful. And it's you see that you don't see it. You see people say dumb stuff, about all athletes. You see people say dumb stuff, but it doesn't usually go to the level that it does, like with women athletes, and something that women have to put up with, and they know about it, like we know about it, and not putting myself as an athlete, but just as a woman, about it. And it's just, I always say, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Well,
you don't like. There's certain things I don't like. Like I'm not really. There's certain sports, hockey, for example.
I was going to say, you don't like hockey. You don't like ice hockey.
No, I'm not going to come on here and say bad things about hockey players. I just don't. I don't watch it. I may watch a few minutes of it if I see.
You would if they were Duke hockey players.
No, but I mean, I just don't watch it rather than like dump on it because it's just not for. It's just not. I didn't grow up with it. It's just not my sport. So I don't. I know that they're phenomenal athletes. Like it's just that it's not for me, and that's fine. Correct. Everything is not for everyone, right? And it's fine.
Exactly. Thank you. That's my point.
But I mean, if it's not for you, though, like I said, you don't have to watch it. It's just, to me, and I don't know they're watching. It's just they're making the comments online. And I know that the athletes, I don't know that it affects them much, but I always worry about like young people who are seeing this stuff. That's what I worry about more. I know you have to be tough to play at that level. And so, like, if you're gonna, crumble just because somebody makes a dumb comment about you, you're not going to be able to accomplish much.
I don't think that happens now. Now young people are just looking to see how much the bag's going to be. They don't care what people say anymore.
No, I'm not talking about I'm just talking about like fans. I'm not talking about maybe reading these stories. That's all. I'm not talking about them.
Well, it's good stuff and good conversation this morning, Marva. Well, we went beyond sports this morning.
We did.
It's good. That's good. Well, I hope your fam has a great week, and we'll resume next week. We'll see what happens with Michael Malone's. I guess now that he's higher, we'll find out who he's going to bring in. So
So I think it'll be interesting. I almost thought last week you told me there would be a coach before I came on again, and I almost thought you were wrong. I'm like, and then it happened yesterday. So I'm glad it did. I'm glad.
Did you believe me? Did you even believe me when I sent you the story? Did you think I made it up?
No, I didn't think you made it up. But of course, I looked around to see. I wanted to see if I could see it elsewhere. I mean, that's just in my nature. I got to.
I know.
I
did wait.
I would have done that with anyone.
Now that you say that, though, I did wait. I was like, okay, I see this, but I wanted to see it from. And then what I sent you was actually okay. That's a national place now. Now we can go ahead and send that to Marva. So because I didn't want to be that guy, send you some kind of fake story.
Well, it's easy to do these days, especially.
It is. It's like AI. You don't know what's real.
I'm not a fan of AI, but that's another story for another day.
We'll get into that too.
Yeah.
All right. Be good. Have a great week.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.
Right, there you go. Marvin, Miami joining us this morning. Hope everybody's doing well wherever you might be. Yeah. Keyboard warriors are right. They're all tough. Just like Dwight Vick calls them. Yes. They all sit there and talk tough because they figure they're never going to have to meet people that they're complaining about. There's Brian Seigla. He's no keyboard warrior from
What's going on? Yeah, I'm gonna put my name on it. If I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna put my name on it.
Exactly. Hey, how was your trip? Where did you go last week? You went out for a while.
So we were up in the Boston area, headed up to Portland, Maine for a couple days. It was a really good trip. We had a lot of fun. Saw some cool stuff. Got to learn a little history.
Cool.
Got to see some lighthouses. Got to have a lobster roll in Maine.
I love lighthouses. That's cool. That's cool.
It was good stuff. It was good stuff, man. It was a long drive though. It was a 10-hour drive, but we had about 12 hours in the car coming back from Maine.
Oh wow. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But I guess if you have good car company, you're okay with that. So
yeah, my wife's a great passenger princess over there, so she was helping me out with navigate and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it was a good time.
You guys have a new episode this week?
We are gonna be going live tomorrow night. It's gonna be a fun time. Please tune in. We got some topics that we're working on. We got an interview that we're lining up. So once we get the confirmation on that, it's gonna be a good time.
Any rumblings that you've gotten out of the second scrimmage? We're going to find out here in a little bit from Mike Burnop, all the things that went on. What did you hear? Anything?
I haven't heard anything yet, but I haven't had a chance to talk to my man David Cunningham yet to get some of the lowdown. So
it's been quiet, hasn't it? It's quiet after that second scrimmage.
It has been a little quiet, but I mean, I think that's probably a good thing. That's probably business as usual. Maybe things didn't change a ton from the first scrimmage. Maybe things are starting to kind of settle in a little bit. Who knows? But I mean, by all accounts, things are looking pretty good and progressing along. I think the biggest concern for me, just looking kind of long-term heading into fall camp, is that, we got a few offensive linemen banged up. So what's that actual starting five offensive line going to look like when we turn around in fall? Because I know we're not, at least two of the players that are probably going to figure into that, starting 7-8 rotation, aren't available at least yet for the spring. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out, because that's probably in my opinion, the most important situation to watch on the offensive side of football.
No, that's a great point, because that's the one thing we know, that's the one position group that's got to be better. And if you can't get those guys developed now together, you have to wait, until August to get them on the field. That's a good point. And that is a setback for any camp that can't do that. So maybe the positive side is they'll create some depth, maybe some guys maybe they didn't know they could count on for sure. Maybe they'll find that out too. So
yeah, and one of your 2 or 3 best incoming freshmen is enrolling in the summer, so they're not out there this spring as well. So you factor that in. You factor in you got a couple guys that are transferring in that you were hoping you were going to either be starters or at least rotational pieces. A little bit nicked up. One fully out for the spring. So it's going to be interesting to see what that final starting 5 looks like. Matt Moore and Coach Franklin have said it, looking to get the best 5 on there. They've been shuffling some pieces around, trying to get guys looks at other positions so they can really have a good evaluation of what those best 5 are going to look like heading into fall camp.
We talked about yesterday, women's basketball losing key players, men's basketball, they get Hansberry back, but they've lost some key guys, and who knows what it's going to look like. Are you on board? Because I said it yesterday. I'm on board now to where the only thing that really matters over there is to get this football program back to what it's supposed to be, and then you can maybe fill in the blanks, right? What James Franklin's trying to do, it's 8 years running since this program's been prominent or been good. It's time now to are you of that mindset? I know you support everything, but how do you feel about that aspect of all these dollars just going to make sure football has everything it needs, because that's what's controlling everything else?
Yeah, I think this is a classic rising tide will raise all ships situation, because if you can get football right, you'll see things like enrollment go up. You'll see the just general enthusiasm around Virginia Tech athletics go up. That's going to get money rolling in from donors and things like that. And then as you do that, those other programs are going to have a little bit more breathing room from an NIL perspective to really go out there and be competitive for the handful of players that they need to be competitive for. And I mean, I know Coach Franklin has said it. And, Price said it when he was head coach as well. We don't want money to be the reason you're coming here, but we have to be competitive with the other people that want you to go to their program as well. So you got to still want to be in Blacksburg, but at the same time, if you're not competitive financially, that puts you at a disadvantage.
I wonder how many guys across the country, not just the guys coming to Tech, don't do any research about anything around like the town in which they're, and all they're doing is taking the bag. And then when they get there, they're like, I don't really like it here, right? That's got to be something that's pretty prominent now more than, because you don't necessarily take recruiting visits like you used to as much anyway, with the same vibe. Now it's about, okay, I'm here, but I had a couple coaches tell me that now they get on campus and the second question they ask is, okay, how much? Whether it's the player or the handler that's with the player, right?
Yeah, and I think, when we talked about this historically, like Blacksburg has done a pretty good job of selling itself. A lot of players, like the big thing for a lot of these coaches was, hey, get these kids on campus in Blacksburg, show them the facilities, show them the town, sell the program from that perspective. I think, Blacksburg in a lot of ways sells itself in a positive way. Just the vibes, the atmosphere. It's a true college town experience. So a lot of these kids, the hardest part of like getting those 4 and 5 star guys in the door is making sure you get them on campus so you can kind of sell that experience.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I got to ask you about Carolina's basketball hire. What'd you think about Michael Malone? Kind of came out of the blue.
I said it on Twitter yesterday. When it dropped, I was like, okay, well, this is very much in line with what we saw with the Bill Belichick hire. So it didn't shock me to any big degree, but at the same time, it was like, all right, well, that's a little bit of a left field move considering some of the other coaches that they were interviewing and potentially had offered. It seems like before kind of landing there on Malone. So I don't think this is going to be a situation like Belichick where like basketball and football are completely different when I think going from one to the other. I don't think you're going to have quite the learning curve or the difficulty adjusting that we've seen Belichick have to this point. Just because recruiting is different. It's a little bit more of a straightforward approach with basketball compared to football. Recruiting has kind of always been a little more national with basketball as well, whereas it's been very regional up until recently for football. So I don't think that adjustment is going to be quite as difficult. So I don't think you'll see necessarily a drop off of any sort with him coming in. I think it's more going to be, does his philosophy, the things he's trying to do, mesh well in the college game?
Yeah. Well, I think I saw a couple posts, and I think I'm buying in. It's either going to go well or it's not. In other words, middle ground won't happen. It's going to either be a success or he's going to be unsuccessful, and he'll either be lauded as being a great, behind the scenes hire, or he'll be like, oh, here we go, Carolina blew it again. I don't think there's going to be any kind of middle ground with all that.
Yeah, and I guess the same question goes with the situation with Belichick is like, what sort of leash and time frame are they going to give him to acclimate? Like if it's a disaster out the gate, is it gonna be kind of a 2-year and done situation, or are they going to give him 3 years to be competitive for an ACC championship?
Right, exactly. Because it's Carolina basketball. Carolina football is one thing. Carolina basketball, though, that's royalty.
Yeah. Like, for example, Belichick needs to show something this year, or there's going to be some conversations that happen pretty quickly, I feel like, because it's going to be, all right, we don't need to continue to ride this thing out. Like, we can go ahead and, hit the reset button a little bit. Basketball, I think they're going to want to stick with him unless they have definite reasons not to, just because I think from a perception perspective, they don't want to look like they screwed up again on this one. And, they probably rode this thing out a little bit longer than they wanted to from a competitive standpoint, just because they were kind of like just below where they wanted to be, and they couldn't kind of take that next step. And that's the question for me is, how long are they going to give this thing to kind of work out before they pull the plug again?
Agreed. Well, I just know that from a football perspective in Blacksburg, it's got to get turned around, and I've kind of done 180 on it. I think, basketball is going to be what it is. They've held off on announcing a Mike Young extension. I don't know if that's just timing or now they've changed their mind. Who knows? But I think for what James Franklin's trying to do and what they are, they're just going to have to go ahead and make this thing be all in. And I think if you're going to be serious about it again, everybody else is good in football is going all in on football. That's all. I mean, that's the way I look at it. So we'll see.
Yeah. And in Blacksburg, it's going to be hard for these other sports to get oxygen until football is where it needs to be. And that's not necessarily a knock on what we're doing from a financial commitment or anything like that. I think it's just the reality of the situation of college sports right now, that if you have a football program and your football program is the driver of the donations to your athletics in general, you're going to need to get that program where it needs to be for the others to have the oxygen that they need to be successful in the NIL era. And, we can talk separately from that, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And whether or not that, some of these conversations that we saw on, Basketball College Game Day, the relevancy of, adding some guardrails, whatever the future of college athletics looks like right now, the reality is if you've got a football program that's driving your athletics budget and it's not where it needs to be, that's a problem.
It is. Well, good stuff, brother. So tell us again now, you guys when you going, are you going to share who your guest might be? Is that going to be a surprise?
It's going to be a surprise right now. We're keeping that on lockdown for now, but it's going to be, I will say it is a member of the coaching staff. So it's going to be a pretty fun thing. We're kind of working out times and everything like that right now, but we're going live tomorrow night. Either going to be 9 or 9:30. And then I want to also, while I'm here, for the spring game, at noon on Chicken Hill, we've got a live pregame podcast that we're doing.
Very cool.
Myself, Pete B from Too Deep, and Dan Poltz from Tales from the Terror Dome. Going to be some other guests kind of popping in and out, but it's going to be a good time. So come see us up on Chicken Hill at noon, or tune in if you're not going to be there live. Tune in on all the socials. It'll be streaming live there as well.
All right. Well, we'll keep promoting that. It's good stuff, man. People will be excited about that. That's good. Very good. Well, have fun tomorrow night. Can't wait to find out who the guest is going to be. And that'll be good stuff. Be good. Tag us all. Let us know what's going on so we can tell people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Once we get the details locked in, we will be sharing that around here in the next few hours. So.
All right. Well, good to have you back, brother. I'm glad you're able to get away and have a good time in the Northeast. Good stuff.
Yeah, it was a good time, good trip, and glad to be back and getting back into the routine a little bit.
I know, man. Football, it's here. It's here. Even though it's not the season, it's still here. It's still right here.
It's always here. It's just it may not be in the front of the picture, but it's always here.
Always here. All right, brother. Take care of yourself, man.
Appreciate it, Rick. Have a good one now.
You too, man. You too. Good stuff there from Brian Seigla. So special guest coming up on the Boundary Corner, and we'll promote the Chicken Hill thing. That's cool that they're just going to be up there. It's funny, T-Bird, I just read your post. I've heard that from 3 different people now. I drove through Tech's campus yesterday for the first time in 25 years. Now it's congested, crammed together, hodgepodge, chaotic, opposite of the open, inviting, architecturally beautiful campus that I remember. It is, because I had somebody come in. It was a Tech grad that hadn't been there in like 10 years. They'd been traveling even across the world, and they were like, wow, it's hard to be driving through there now. I've heard that from a few people. But I guess it's progress. When you have nearly 40,000 students, and it's going to feel that way. It's a city, right? It's just most colleges like that, universities in places that are in relatively small towns like Blacksburg, it kind of turns into a small city. So there you go. I want to thank everybody at Sundown Electric. Thanks to the Smith brothers, keeping their father's business going. Superior craftsmanship, attention to detail, clear communication, honest, and integrity. ReadySetFund.com. That's Bob Christ, the brother of the Hall of Famer Dave Christ. CRST11@gmail. They send out a series of text messages to help you go out and raise money for your organization. Professional Door Incorporated, Travis Williams in Dublin, right across from the NRCC, sponsor of our text line, 391-0788. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner, BDST, here on YouTube. Got my refinancing done. Awesome. BDST fan question of the week. Who's going to win the Masters? The attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. We are presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Thanks so much to Jonathan Sweet and to Tim Miller. And great conversation last week with Jonathan Sweet. He is the absolute best. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio, 540-200-8294. Thanks to McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hunley, right off of Walters Drive, 155 Walters Drive over in Christiansburg, if you need to be popped, whatever it might be. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel in Pulaski. Sponsor of our T-shirts. The NRV Super Bowl, 382-5525. We're going to do our meetup in the summer, and we are confirmed that Jen and Coach Elmo will be there. It's awesome. And Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. They've been doing it since 1997. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. Blacksburg Police is chaotic. Tebow says traffic is terrible. Parking is terrible. Avoid at all costs when students are there. Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't go over there much. I mean, but I guess it's probably the natural progression of it, right? I don't know. That's a lot of people to incorporate into this community. It is. Now it helps the community. With Radford, we're at about 8,500 students, whatever it is, 9,000, and we feel that impact. We feel that impact a whole lot. In Radford, it's a smaller area, so I can imagine what's Tech's enrollment this year. It's getting close to 40,000, right? It was like 37, 38, something like that. Wow, just wow. But anyway, I think I'm starting to get the vibe. I don't want to make a prediction yet, but I'm starting to get the vibe that this season coming up is probably going to be a little better than a lot of people think. I've tried to start looking at what some of the other schools in the ACC have done. There's some things that certain programs are doing to reload because of the money. Miami's trying to do that. Pitt is getting a lot of love in the league. I can't find anything on UVA. It's weird. It's just kind of like last year. All I've heard about UVA is Chandler Morris being shot down for his 63rd year of eligibility. So I don't know what exactly that looks like. I mean, you can go through some of these rankings and all that. I went there yesterday to eat with the family at Avellino's, which was excellent with great service. Avellino's. I've heard of that. Whereabouts is that? T-Bird? Is that in downtown Avellino's? All right, Chris Lester, you're going to be what? You're going to be in Blacksburg? Good. I'll tell you what, Chris, give us the report of what you deal with there, like what you're dealing with too, in terms of the the traffic and all that stuff. That's good. That's good. See what you think when you're there. Mike Burnup's going to join us at the top, and we're going to we'll get direct results, man. That's what I'm saying. You get to find out exactly everything that you're not hearing coming out of that scrimmage from Mike coming up, because he's the best. Near the Waffle House, okay. South Main. Okay, I'm trying to picture it here. Hang on. South Main, Avelinos, near the Waffle House. Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, it's in the, okay. Gotcha. So it's right in there. Okay. I have heard good stuff about them, though. Hey, they'd be good sponsors. They'd be good sponsors. So the theater there in that little, okay. Now I know where you're talking. I just don't know if I've ever seen it. How's that theater doing, by the way? Is that doing all right? Everybody, where do y'all go when you watch movies here in the year? You going to Blacksburg or the one in Christiansburg? Masters in golf is similar to Notre Dame in football. They write their own rules. Well, I did like to hear that about the Masters. That's cool. If they control the advertising and say, look, we don't need you, you need us, the mindset, I kind of like that. I like that a lot. Because, the advertising is just, we're looking at, whenever you break at a football game, you're looking at, is it 3.5 minutes? I think in ACC basketball, we played down at Carolina, I believe the media timeouts, instead of being 1.5 minutes, are 3 minutes. Wayne says it is amazing. There are two big theaters lifetimes ahead of Roanoke theaters. We do have it pretty good in terms of theaters. Now I just wish Hollywood put something out worth watching so you could go. Tebow says South Main is one thing, downtown and campus is a different animal. There you go, probably so. Yeah, South Main, you get to the stoplight by the Kroger. Oh yeah, I took the chat off because there were some bots. There we go. I meant to put it back on. Yeah, I don't know if y'all have seen all the. We've had some. I don't know. It happens sometimes. There are mornings where the bots, and I don't know why people feel like it's necessary to make a lot of inappropriate comments. What's great now is I control who I can ban forever, as opposed to before it was the mechanism. That's what happened to T-Bird, TLB, the artist formerly known as TLB. So yeah, we're back now, Rodney. It's back. I forgot to put it back on there. There are some things though that were inappropriate, and I'm telling you, man, when a couple of them had to do with race, and those people are going to be reported too. Not only did I delete them, I reported them, and there's no call for any of that. I just don't understand that. I don't understand people with that mindset. And I don't know if they're even real, but the bottom line is I don't want it part of this program. We're not going to do that here. We don't care. We don't. But anyway. So yeah, if you see something, report it. Let me know. If I don't catch it, I think I caught the two that I saw that made the derogatory comments when I was talking to Marva. I think I got them off here quickly enough, but it's unfortunate, but that's the world in which we live. And when you jump on a streaming service like YouTube, you have to kind of live with it. And it's not cool. They need to have better barriers. You're the second largest streaming service, I guess, people watch in the world after Netflix. And look, I appreciate everything they've done for my channel. They created this other stream. I appreciate the constant updates, but boy, they need to do a better job of keeping people like that out. It just seems like it's, and I guess it's everywhere. You know, it's the internet. It's one thing to be critical or to make comments pertaining to what you're saying, and that's perfectly fine. But just to come on and make inhuman comments, basically, what's the point? What are we doing? What are we doing? Moore says, yeah, it's been a while. A few of the bots made me blush, and I'm a U.S. Navy sailor. Yeah, I've heard it's going to go up to, I think, 40. If it's not at 40 yet, Tebow, is that right? They want it to go to 40. I mean, it's more student fees. It's more money. And the student fees should go directly into athletics. And I guess the football program. If the football program gets really good again, that'll help, because I think athletics directly relates to enrollment, right? In a lot of cases, maybe not in every case, but in certain, it can't hurt. I think a lot of schools benefit from having traditional powers, and let's go watch that team play. Let's go be part of that. I'm sure if you did the research and when Frank Beamer got it going, that kids were like, yeah, let's go watch Virginia Tech play. Let's go watch that Mike Vick guy. Let's go to that school. Look how beautiful it is. Wayne says, I remember years ago, they said they were never going above 25K. Wow. And now it's close. I typed in like their enrollment, but that was like the only thing I could find was last year before. I don't know what it is for 25, 26. Maybe those come out heading into the next year. I don't know. And just looking at that number, Wayne, 25K. Oh, by the way, I got to give Wayne some props. So I know very little about Instagram, but I know cool stuff when it comes across. So Wayne yesterday posted, Wayne, I hope you don't mind me talking about this, his Hot Wheels collection. He's got a few Matchbox to go in there. But he posted his Hot Wheels room, man. And I'm telling you, man, it was absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Oh my. Oh no. Oh no. That was out of nowhere.
Yeah, got to give you your applause on that. That was cool. And the thing about it, you came across like you had just started it, and I guess you had, but boy, you've got it going now, man. That was impressive. You got some Matchbox in there. So I was the same way when I was younger. I like both. I was more of a Hot Wheels Red Line guy, but there was some Matchbox stuff. Matchbox did the big stuff better. Like if you had like a big rig or some kind of different vessel. 36. Okay, so that 36, that makes sense then if you're going toward 40. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, Wayne, well done with your Hot Wheels room. That was cool. That was cool. And you need things like that, especially in today's world, to get lost into your own stuff. Right? A nice sidetrack away from the world. We need that more than ever. We need that more than ever. I do it, comic stuff and figures, whatever it is, man. There's no wrong answer. Some people, now I've quit buying sports merch. Fanatics bought everything and they've ruined it all. And I just don't need anything else. Like this is the last stuff I'll buy right here. Back here. Well, I've had this forever, this plate. like the Gratishar. That was special. I got to meet Randy Gratishar and interview him, and so that was special. He's the reason I'm a Broncos fan. He's the reason I'm a linebacker. That's why I played linebacker. Didn't get it. Yeah, I didn't think it had been long. February. It's awesome. It's awesome. Oh, you're going to do some buying and selling? You buy and sell, and then you can try to get some of the grails. You're going to eventually go into the grails, the red lines? Yeah, I've heard that too, Tebow. I've heard a lot of people have either gotten hit or they almost get hit because kids aren't paying any attention. Whether the crosswalk is available or not, they're looking down doing this as they walk. Don't you think our world would be a much better place without this? Don't you think? The world would have been a much better place without these and without constant trying to get, it's changed it all. It's changed it all. I mean, I'm all for progress, but there was something to be said for when we could just go out and work, have our day, be outside, read a newspaper, and not have to worry about, the convenience of it, if there's an emergency, is great, but it's just constant. It's just constant now. Nobody can function 2 seconds without this thing going in their hand. Either you're playing a game or you're just trying to read Instagram or read YouTube, whatever, watch something on YouTube. It seems like it's helped turn the world very quickly into something that has become unrecognizable. When you had to go out of your way to, call somebody on a hard line if you wanted to talk to them. And you weren't bogged down by how many likes you got on a post, or you didn't have to come on and worry about subscribers. Now, I'm grateful for the format here. This has been awesome, but just talking about overall with younger people. Those red lines. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. I meant to send it to you, Wayne. I saw, I guess because I looked at your stuff, I got this random, there's a guy, you probably already know if you're into it, but there's a guy on Instagram that will put up one of his classic red lines, and he puts it on a little spinner circle, and he just spins it around for like a minute, and you get to see it. It's cool. You've probably already seen his account, but it's really cool. It's really cool. Just something like that, to me, intrigues me. Internet, social media, mobile devices have done a lot more harm than good. It did. It did. And then, when we weren't allowed to do anything because of COVID and we had to just stay home and this became relevant, I think a lot of people haven't gotten back into, I think it affected, especially younger people. I think it affected their social skills. It created horrible acceptance issues. I believe a lot of that when younger people had their lives taken away. My oldest son, not Ben, but my oldest son, Ryan, he didn't get his senior year, and it changed him. He never recovered. He just had to do stuff online, and he didn't have to go to school the whole year. And what all that did to people, we'll never really know, because you're not developed yet. Younger people aren't developed yet. Their minds, their body, everything, their thought processes. And now I think it's expedited the reliable, how much they rely on this kind of thing to feel like they have to get caught up. But yeah. It's just a problem. It is a problem. It is. But AI is now here. And someone said they're probably right that over half of what you see now is posts on all these things are AI. Hollywood is already on the rocks. Movies and things like that are going to be obsolete, I think, sooner than later. I've seen people put together 10-minute clips of movies strictly they built out of AI, and you can't tell the difference. I mean, you can see some things, but you're just like, wow. The actors look just like the actors. They sound just like, it's mind-blowing. And this is what movies have been warning us about, right? This is what the book and the movie, what was it? I, Robot? Go back before that. Styx sang a song, Mr. Roboto. That was 1983. Machines to save our lives. Machines dehumanize. The problem's plain to see. Too much technology. The song that broke Styx might be one of the most important few little lyrics we've had. But it's here, man. And it's not a good thing. What did Dwight tell us? Dwight said he's seen more patients. I'll ask him about this Thursday. Since the whole COVID stoppage than he ever imagined, right? It's just gone up. I don't know how much. We'll talk about it with him. That's what he does. He sees people. He's a therapist. He helps people turn their lives around. So, yeah, it's affected me personally with my son. And I think I see it every day at Radford too. I think at Radford we have a mental health coach. We have people. We have counseling. It's more prominent. Feels like now than ever before. When am I going to have Bigfoot on as a guest host? I don't know, man. I'm still so upset over this Capturing Bigfoot documentary coming out. I've been looking stuff up in my free time all I can. I don't know when it's going to be. They don't have a carrier yet. And there's one guy that has an account, Harry Man Road, and all he's doing is going around saying that this is completely going to debunk Patty and the Patterson footage, that it's the same suit. And I want to watch it. Maybe he's right. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it. But it's not out yet. They don't have a date. I don't know why they can't find a distributor. Seems like that's a little weird. We just talked about AI. How much did they use AI? Did AI help? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of questions, but this is and we found out, by the way, the guy who made it, his father was friends with one of the gentlemen that's being accused of wearing the suit in the run through. So what's true? What's not? Is it the same suit? I guess if you watch the documentary and you see that it's the same exact suit, then it's probably going to be debunked. And it doesn't mean there's no Bigfoot. It just means that footage, which has been held up for 60 years as. So, yeah. Well, that's the thing too, T-Bird. With everything coming out from Artemis, which I think is amazing, the people are posting things, and then you see community notes come up. This isn't real. This is AI. So how do they, it's like that we have this great thing going on with this launch, and it's like, how much is actually legitimate? with what we're seeing? I don't know. But anyway, I digress. Joining us now on the program, and he'll never be accused of being, an AI. Mike Burnop, brought to you by Louise Baker, Long and Foster. What's up, Mike? How are you?
I'm doing good, Rick. How about yourself?
We're hanging in there, man. We're hanging in there. Day after the national title game. Nah. What were some of your thoughts of what we saw last night?
Well, I'm still wishing that it had been Duke playing Michigan. That was my final two, and I had Duke actually beat Michigan. But Michigan played so well those other 5 games, and then last night they just kind of played to Connecticut's level, right? I mean, I think the only way Danny Hurley thought that they could win that game was to, as he said, muck it up, muddy the waters, and slow the pace down. And they did that. They did a good job in the first half of doing that. But then they got a bunch of guys in foul trouble, and it came back to haunt them a little bit later. At one point, they made 20 in a row, free throws, Michigan did, and shot the ball well at the free throw line. But, it's kind of wasn't that fun of a game to watch because, you want to see the up and down, the go, 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 kind of like Michigan had done in those other games when they just played so well, scored over 90 points in every game. That's incredible. And then last night, you're down there a 69-point game. And, how about that? The first time in the history of the tournament, 5 transfers.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in, right? 5 transfers come in and they win the national championship. So kind of shows you what you can do if you got enough money, the resources, you got the right players and the right coach, you can get the job done.
Yeah.
And how about the end of the game too, Rick? I thought there were a couple things that were so key. The 5-point turnaround when Michigan turned it over, Connecticut went down the other way and had 2 layups got blocked.
Yeah.
They go the other way and McKinney hits that 3. It's like, man, oh man, that just kind of took the air out of them. And then at the end of the game, they're scrambling around, and was it Yexel that got the rebound and threw the ball to the other end of the court?
Yeah.
I think it was him maybe. And then they had to go back, and Connecticut has to go back and get it. Well, how much time did that waste? And boy, was that a flashback to Duke and Caden Boozer?
Yeah.
All you got to do is throw the ball up in the air, throw it the other end of the court, get rid of it, and that clock is ticking away, and there's nothing you can do. So that was kind of a flashback too. But man, oh man, for old Yexel to come out there and just gut it out, play the whole first 20 minutes of the half, all 20 minutes, and he was not his best, but they weren't going to keep him off the court, so that was kind of fun to see too. And what a great job for Dusty May, starting out as a manager in Indiana. That's one of the great stories. There'll be a movie about that one day.
It will be. It will be. Mike Burnop joining us. Thanks to Louise Baker team, Long and Foster. And it looks like Hansberry's back. That's the reports yesterday, right, in Blacksburg. Maybe something else is going to some more good news I'm hearing could be coming down soon. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, the portal opens today, and you saw it. Radford had 3 or 4 leave. Tech had 4 leave. Women's basketball had 4 girls leave and 2 graduate for Megan Duffy. That was kind of a surprise too. So, yeah, that's it's been interesting, but who knows? I was really surprised that Jaden Shute was going to leave, and Gerdak. Gerdak was a kid that Mike Young offered at 14 years old, and he kept his word that he'd go play for him, and then all of a sudden he's in the portal. I don't understand some of this stuff. But it's great to see Amani back. I know he wants to keep him. I know he wants to keep Ben Hammond, Tyler Johnson, and the rest of them. I don't know. It opens up today, and I'm afraid these agents are getting in some of these kids' head, and think, hey, you can get more minutes, you can get this, you can get that, more money, blah, 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 blah. And, they're twisting their arm and getting in their family's ears, and they're leaving. And it's kind of sad to see that happen, but that's the world we live in now, Rick.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. And before we get into the scrimmage, I got to get your thoughts on the Carolina basketball hire. I mean, I don't know how Michael Malone's going to do. Maybe it ends up being a good hire, but boy, maybe the bluest of all blue bloods. You had to settle for 6th or 7th guy on that list. I saw the list of people they actually had either contacted or they wanted to talk to, and his name wasn't on it. What were your thoughts about that hire yesterday?
Yeah, he totally was flying under the radar, which sometimes I love, Rick, because all these guys out there in the suits, they know everything, right?
Absolutely.
They're just absolutely running people's names by there. This is who they want to do. I'm smart. I'm the smartest guy in the room.
I
This is
know.
who they're getting. And then he comes out of nowhere, right, and gets the job. So I thought it was pretty cool. And then the fact that his daughter plays volleyball there, that was kind of cool. But he's been a champion in the NBA. Now that doesn't mean he can coach in the NCAA with the landscape they're in now. And I thought it was so funny that somebody asked Coach K yesterday about the hire. And he said, North Carolina brought in a great football coach, a champion coach, won all those Super Bowls, right? And what happened? Duke beat him in football.
That's right.
So he said, there's no guarantee that this guy's going to be the answer. And, the adjustment period for somebody coming in, I mean, look how long it took Belichick, right? I mean, in basketball, you're doing with less players, but that adjustment to the college level and the recruiting and all the stuff that's going around it, it is like a pro league now in college, and North Carolina's got 2 pro coaches, right? So they're running their whole operation like it's a NFL or an NBA team. So we'll see how it goes, how it happens. I think the guy can coach for sure, but now it's about getting the players and getting everybody on board.
Yeah, no, it is. And then you had the weirdness. The women's Final Four wasn't great. The whole Gino and
my gosh,
Staley thing.
How about that fiasco?
It's weird. Yeah.
And
where
Connecticut,
did that come from? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't. That thing was wild and bizarre. And Gino, that interview he did with Holly after the third quarter, they're beating the shit out of our guys. I mean, he was flat out hot, man. And that kind of spilled over. That could have been part of it, that he thought she was getting all the calls and she can rant and rave at the officials. And if he does it, he gets in trouble, but she can do it. And I don't know if that was part of it, but Connecticut was all out of whack, all out of sorts. And, everybody thought that South Carolina was going to just roll through UCLA, man. The old Bruins took care of them. That was a dominant performance.
It was.
Man,
it was.
They just crushed them.
Yeah, and Gino would have been fine if he'd have just complained about the officials like that and ended it and still handle, because he was right. They didn't get called for a foul in the third quarter, and they had, I think, 8 called against UConn. So he was hot, and he had a right to be. But then, I don't know. That was just weird. Women's basketball didn't need that from those 2 coaches at all.
No, not from those 2 legends. Yeah, that's for sure. But it was kind of interesting. And, I don't know what she was wearing at the game, too. Dawn Staley in that championship. What was that about?
Thank you. I don't know. And you see people defending, well, she never wears school colors. Well, whose fault is that? Why would the school allow that? I don't understand that either. I don't know.
You got to ask your girl Jen about that.
Oh, I will. I will on Friday. Yeah.
I was driving back from Roanoke. I saw the grandkids on Sunday, and
cool.
I was driving back, and I was driving down. I guess it was, because on the way back the game was going on. But they were interviewing Shane Beamer. He was there with Hunter, his son, and that was great to hear him talk about it and talk about Dawn Staley and their relationship and how when he has recruits coming to town, a lot of them want to meet her. And he said, I'm over 2, though, unfortunately, with some of the kids he's brought over, some of the girls that have come over to talk to him, too. So they share stuff like that. And one time she was tied up with a game, but she FaceTimed him with a recruit. I mean, he said they got a really good relationship, and he was there supporting the women's basketball. And that was kind of a cool story, too, to see him on the radio and at the game and all that.
That is cool.
Of course, at the same time, Casey's next door across the street from Coach Beamer. She was in town for Easter, so that was kind of neat to see her too.
That's right. You get to kind of keep, hey, there's everybody. Hey, the family's here. That's right. You get your
they
neighbors.
They were out there burying Easter eggs. Cheryl and Casey were out burying Easter eggs. And I thought, man, I might sneak over and try to get one real quick. But I knew they had a count on them, Rick, and that would have been bad. Wait a minute, we're missing 2.
You better be careful. Your snake may go over there and take one of them.
Yeah. Well, they had their dog with them, so that was good.
Okay. All right, well, let's get into it, Mike. How did the second scrimmage go? I think it was on Friday, right? Because he gave Franklin gave them the Easter weekend off. So
yeah, they went Friday afternoon and went from about 4:30, something like that, till 7 something, a little bit.
Wow.
And it was long. Yeah, it was a long scrimmage. They did a lot of it in some of it in the outdoor fields over there and indoor, and then they came into the stadium. And he was on a little bit of a roll. He had a bunch of recruits in again. Had the families there if they wanted to, because there was going to have an Easter egg hunt afterwards. So they had all that going on in the indoor facility, which was kind of cool. So they finished up a little after 7 so they could get that, and then the kids could get out of there. But he was kind of on a roll there. A couple times some of those recruits were creeping up to the edge of the practice field, and he had to get them back. And then when it came time to get through the tunnel, he said, "We don't walk through the tunnel, we run, jog through the tunnel, jog, move, move." He is always on the move, and he's got the energy, man. I'm telling you, it's a total different vibe over there. But the scrimmage went well. I thought the offense probably got the best of the defense this day. I thought the quarterbacks looked really, really good. The windows that they're hitting, it's been pretty amazing. When you look at Grunkenmeyer, you look at Troy Hune, he continues to shine, and Bryce Baker, they all had their moments. And fitting the ball in these tight windows, we didn't see that the last couple of years. The way they can stretch the defense, I think the offensive line has done a good job of giving them time. And of course, the quarterbacks aren't live, so it's a little bit easier. And Coach talked about that. He said, Grunkenmeyer is the only kid that's had live action in a game.
Sure.
So he said, we need to get these other two out there and see what they can do when the bullets are flying. And that might happen this Saturday, because that's kind of the last one before spring game. It's going to be the last big contact that you have before the game. And so I'm kind of anxious to look forward to that and see, because it's a totally different game when those guys are not in the orange jerseys, right? The blitzes are coming, and, they're two-hand touching them and all that stuff. And that won't happen when that's like that. And so it'd be fun to see how those guys react. And I'll say this too, A.J. Brand, he moved from quarterback to receiver. That kid's made some great catches. He's been really good. So that's been encouraging to see. And the Brown kid that came in from Winston-Salem, Duke, you talk about lightning fast. That guy he made a great catch for a touchdown the other day when he kind of went up above a defensive back and made a great play. So the tight ends, I thought all of them have shined really, really well. When you look at Luke Reynolds, and he made a heck of a couple of catches. Benji made a good catch, Gosnell. They've been good. They got a lot of depth in that room. And it's been fun to watch. Jarikus was good. He made a couple good catches, took a couple shots, but he's kind of the Swiss Army knife guy as well. And I think you'll see a lot of those 2 and 3 tight ends on the field quite often.
And so Grunkenmeyer was better. He was sick the week before, but you looked like everything was good.
He was fine. He was good, played great. He's got a live arm. I mean, he can get the ball in there quick. It's got a nice tight spiral, and he knows when to get rid of it too. You can just tell he's a veteran, and he's been tested clearly in those games up there in that Big Ten when he had to run that run. Man, oh man, he had some.
I know.
He got baptism by fire, brother.
I know, man. That's why I think he's going to be maybe low key when we look at like the top 5 portal guys who came in at the end of the year coming up. He's going to be right up there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah,
but
I agree. I think so too.
Yeah,
he was really good. I talked to Brent after the practice too, and Brent Pry, and he said, "Man, they're throwing a lot of stuff at us." And he said, "It's been great though." He said, "Because we're having to learn. We're having to get those guys in the right position and all that sort of stuff." And they're not going at it 100 miles an hour like they would just tackle and try to drive people on the ground. I mean, you want to protect your teammates, like we talked a little bit about last week. And so, we'll see what happens in the spring game and how much live and 100% they're going, and how vanilla that's going to be. But boy, it's supposed to be beautiful weather this weekend. I hope it'll last till the next weekend, Rick, because that'll certainly help the crowd get there.
That's what we've been looking for, right? Try to get that long-term forecast to see what it's going to look like coming up. Yeah. You always make a great point. You never want to go to a spring and see one side completely dominate the other. You want to kind of have good days and bad days. How do you feel like that's balancing out? You say the offense won on Friday, but how do you think that's looking when you look at both sides of the ball?
Good. I think it's looked good. The kickers have been solid as well. There's great competition between the 3 kickers. They're making their field goals. But, yeah, I mean, I think Brent kind of got the best of them the other day, a week ago scrimmage, and this past Friday, I thought the offense did better. So,
No, there you go.
I think at one time it was, what did I say, 12-10 or something, or whatever it was. I forget exactly, but yeah, I think the offense had to do it. And it's so funny, Rick. I mean, you look at Coach Frank and he's making sure these guys understand how important it is to get penalties. We talk about the officials are there every practice. And when they make a mistake, a false start, like if they're in the stadium, they got to run. They come out of the game. He takes them out right away, and they got to run a lap around the whole outside of the stadium. Well, around the field anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we saw that the other day. False start, guy takes off. He knows he's made a boo boo, and he's got to come out of the game. He's got to make his lap around the field. Same way with the defense. Yeah, the defense had an offsides penalty. Same thing. And what they do is, when the offense wins a drill or the defense wins a drill, the other team has to get down and do 5 push-ups. And so we saw a lot of push-ups coming out of the defense the other day. And so it's kind of great to see that, though. I mean, it's not just the guys that are on the field. It's the guys on the sideline, too. If you're on the defense and you're 11 out there, don't get the job done, you got to do the push-ups, too. So it's he's driving the point home about penalties and the mistakes cost you games and all that stuff. Like they were going to, they were in the red zone the other day, Rick, and had the ball at the 22-yard line, I think, going in, or maybe it's the 18. And they had a defensive penalty or an offensive penalty, 15-yard penalty, because the quarterback took his helmet off. Well, he went ballistic. You can't do that. 15-yard penalty. They backed him up, and then the defense was 15 yards back farther, and they end up not advancing the ball, and the defense won that one. And so, yeah, those are the little things he's trying to stress of how important they are, that you can't be taking plays off, making mistakes, getting stupid penalties, costing your team valuable yards.
Mike Burnop joining us on the program. Thanks to Louise Baker, the Louise Baker team, Long and Foster. I like that. It's old school, but it's teaching you accountability. There's not enough of that in this world, so I immediately like to hear that.
Yeah.
The guys are going to have to be accountable for the mistakes they're making, because it can cost you a game. It can cost you a vital first down when you think you're driving. So I think that's good to get it going now, and then that's going to a lesson that's going to continue throughout the summer, and then when practice starts in August.
Yeah. I don't think they'll be doing it during the game, right? You won't see a guy take a lap around the field.
No, but I mean, the guys are going to go, they're going to be like, yeah, you remember what happened, guys? Come on. I like that.
I'll be out here Sunday running.
Yeah. You're going to get it. Yeah. The day after the game. Okay. How many penalties did you have? Go. Yeah. We'll tell you when to stop.
Yeah. But the energy's been great. And, he talks to them afterwards. I mean, there've been so many recruits there. It's been impressive watching that. Some really good-looking kids out there, and so that's been kind of fun to see as well. It's like at every practice, too. Just about. I mean, not as many during the week, but yeah, it's he's got it going now. They're busy and they're working their fannies off for sure.
Yeah. So this week, is it back to normal schedule? The scrimmage on Saturday?
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Yep, they're going to have the scrimmage Saturday, and again, probably the last real live contact before the spring game. Because the spring game, there's a lot of stuff going on there. They're going to end up having to practice because they only went 2 days last week. They're going to end up going, I think, 4 days, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the spring game. So, they'll be in helmets on Friday, not doing much, just having the alumni back in town. They want them to come out and watch practice and do all that sort of thing. And then they'll gear up for 3 o'clock on Saturday.
How's the health of the guys on the offensive line that haven't been available? Things progressing okay?
Yeah.
In the right direction?
Yeah, there's not as many guys out there in the orange jerseys now that are not progressing. But, yeah, I mean, the ones that we knew were going to be out are out. And so, yeah, but the rest of them have been good. There's great competition, Rick, at both sides of the line. It's been really good. They're developing that depth, and guys in the secondary are playing multiple positions so they can make sure they got the best guys on the field. So they're doing a lot of cross training. So, yeah, it's been good.
Well, it all sounds very positive, and that's the way it's supposed to out of spring. The best news is, Mike, I'm not hearing you talk about any injuries that have happened, that's the best news.
That is. I talked to Mark Rogers. He's the team doctor. And he said, yeah, we've been pretty lucky. Everybody's been pretty healthy. They're banged up a little bit, and the farther we go along, there'll be some bumps and bruises, but nothing's bad and serious. So that has been good. You just want to get through the spring game like that as well.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Get through all that and get them, send them away. And then you can take a deep breath and go, okay, let's go back and use our film, watch our film. And nobody's going to have to rehab over the summer. That would be the best news possible. So
that's what he tells them. He makes sure, after the scrimmage, when they get together as a team, he said, you guys watch the film. You make sure you do it on your own time. When you come in here Monday, he said, I'm giving you the weekend off. He said, but you make sure you make smart decisions. Don't hang around with guys that aren't on the same path that you are. If you go home, make sure you drive carefully, buckle your seatbelt, get there in one piece, and make sure you're back here Sunday night. He said, we're not going to meet Sunday night, but we're meeting at 7 a.m. Monday morning. So you make sure you're back. And, they spell it out pretty clearly to them what they're expected to do.
No, I like that. Never assuming anybody's safety. I love it.
Right.
That's good. That's good. And as always, Mike, I want to thank Louise Baker.
Absolutely.
She's excited for the spring. She's already talking about the spring game, so she's excited. So.
She do a big tailgate? We need to go out there and have her have a big tailgate, and we'll go crash it.
That's a good question. Let's go. Yeah, she's got to, right? She's got to. Yeah.
That would be fun to go see Louise out there before the game.
We'll find out. I'll do some digging.
There you go. Elementary, Mr. Watson.
Elementary. I can find the food for us. Yes, sir. All right, brother. Great stuff, man. Have a great week, and we'll see what the final update is before we get into spring game week. Wow, it's here. It's coming.
Yep, it's going to be fun to watch, no doubt about it, and high energy. So let's hope that the transfer portal doesn't rob any more of our players.
I know.
We keep things more intact here.
Absolutely. It's unreal what's going on. It's unreal.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Listen, have a great week, man. Thank you.
All right, Rick, you do the same. Take care of you later. Thanks, Louise.
Yeah, thank you, Louise. Appreciate you. That's Mike Burnop, the best, and that's great stuff. You're getting insight there that you're not getting from anybody else, and that's great news. Mike has always made the point, right? You don't want it to be too much offense, not enough defense, too much defense, not enough offense. So it sounds like the balance is really there. So that's good. That's good. Hit us up. We have about 10 minutes left in the chat room or on the BDST text line. Good stuff. He's right. The portal, it's just the numbers. We're going to find out the numbers that are in already in basketball. Day one, it started officially at midnight. How many? I guess we could just go ahead and say thousands. There's not as many roster spots, but you're still going to have probably a couple thousand or more into the portal. It's mind-blowing what's going on. We talked yesterday with Coach Lind and with Todd Grantham about the presidential bill and all that, but more people don't feel like that's ever going to happen. They just don't feel like that's ever going to happen because it's not going to be anything legally that can ever be put into motion. So I don't know if that happens. I don't know what we do at that point. You're just and regardless of what you think of, the president, if the president of the United States can't have any influence on how college athletics is run, if that ends up happening and everything that he's bringing down is shot down in legal order, then it's going to be wild, wild west for the rest of our days. At that point, I don't know there's not going to be any regulation because, the money's going to run out at certain places, but it's not going to run out everywhere. So I don't know. Coach Lynn and Todd both thought it was a great step forward, some of the things that were brought about in Trump's bill. But people don't feel like it's ever going to see the light of day. So I don't know. Appreciate all the people on the professional door text line. By the way, I appreciate people's passion over Bigfoot. People are like sending me all this Bigfoot stuff. So Cody asks, he goes, so Cody, here you go. So my dad liked the lore, the mythology of it. This is why I'm connected to it. He was asking why I like it so much. And I read a book. I have it right over here. I can't reach it, but it's called the Bigfoot Case Book. And it was one of the first books I remember reading from front to back, just had stories about it and all that. And of course, it has a picture of Patty, the Patterson film. That's who that is. Her name's Patty because it was a female. And I guess for me, I can't say that I've ever watched that film and sit there and yeah, you better believe it's 100% real. But at the same time, I've never looked at it and went, yeah, you better believe it's 100% fake. it's kind of been the ambiguity of the possibility. And then you read more mythology and the people have done research and you see all the stuff, the dramatizations. And so, yeah, I love the lore of it. I'd like to think that at some point it was real. Maybe, the Native American, the American Indian, to use his term, he didn't want to be a Native American. He said, I'm an American Indian. When we went to Albuquerque, there was no doubt in his mind. They was on the totem poles. They showed us the cave drawings of the pictures of Bigfoot. You're like, wow, that's pretty cool. So if something was there at some point, whether it's there now, I don't know. So I guess the ambiguity of it, I've always thought it was cool. And now if this documentary shows that it sure enough was just in a suit, first of all, how did it fool people for 60 years? Because a lot of people have tried to debunk it, but there hasn't been any kind of like official word. And we just had Dr. Jeff Meldrum pass away. He's apparently in this documentary. That's what has me concerned. Because apparently he's seen sitting there acknowledging that, wow, this looks like a run through. It was fake. And it's going to be a big dauber down moment, to think about all those years of it and the intrigue that it's just been. But why now? Why in the age of AI is this now available? Why is the son just coming out? The mother's 100 years old. How much credibility can she have saying the things that she's saying? I don't know. But I'm interested in seeing it. If you go watch, Harry Man Road is the name, and I guess he's doing it. He's getting a lot. He's been the only guy that's been so adamant about how it debunks everything we saw on the Patterson footage. I don't even know people who have seen it. I just don't know. But so yeah. That for me is where it is. Am I going to be surprised if we go and we find out that this thing does debunk it and what they showed is the same suit? No, I won't say. I'll be very disappointed. But the thing that has me concerned is this thing's been together. It's just now seeing the light of day. It's been together for about 2 years. So Jeff Meldrum saw it about 1.5 years ago. He just passed away, about a year ago? And you know how you have older couples when they lose their wife or they lose their husband, and then they all of a sudden, give up their own will to live. You wonder if that destroyed all his work, his whole life. He withstood the ridicule. He talked about it on the program. We had him on twice on the radio show. And I had just emailed him a few weeks before he passed, and he didn't let me know how sick he was. He just said, I'll get back to you. He said he had a great time on the show, the 2 times he was on. And, he talked about being ridiculed. He turned over his professional life to the study of it. He had the biggest footprint collection in the world. So for me, it's going to be like a part of my own personal history that's going to be debunked too. So it'll be a big and I won't be going, wow, I'm surprised. No, but at the same time, why now? I think other questions have to be asked toward this documentary too. Everybody's just, people who haven't seen it are immediately debunking everything. Well, if you haven't seen it, you can't say. Just like I can't say that it doesn't because I haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, you can't talk about it. But that guy talks about it on his channel, and he is 100% convinced that what we saw almost 60 years ago was completely a hoax. But kudos to them if it was, because it has lasted and it has inspired. It has been the most watched footage, most watched 1-minute footage in the history of footage. So kudos to 2 old cowboys if they were able to fool people for that long. But that's my history with it. But anyway, I won't talk about it anymore until I get to see the documentary. I don't know when it's going to be released. And it's weird. It's only been released to a couple of different private showings in Texas. Like, why is it not already out for distribution? If it is the undisputed proof, where is it? Why isn't it out there yet? Come on, let's see it. Let's see it. Do I think it debunks the whole thing? No, I do not. I don't think it means Bigfoot wasn't out there. Or no, but I think the fact that this is our biggest evidence, if you will. Exactly, Wayne. Right. And the way our Indian guide talked about it in the reverence, almost like it was a religious reverence. And I think I follow that same thing. Do you really believe? I don't know. Do you say you don't believe? No. You know? So this would bring a big downward shift of it. Don't worry, your Bigfoot silver coin's going to $1,000. Then see who's laughing. I just want to see the film. And when we get to the Big Dog Pop channel, that's going to be a complete breakdown. Wayne, I think that's our first episode. I might save it until that's actually viewable, and then we'll have a review and we'll get on there. That might be what I do the very first thing on the other channel, which is going to happen here as we get toward the summer. All right, good stuff today. As always, thanks to Marva today. She was feisty. I love it when Marva gets feisty. Thanks to Brian Seigla, and keep an eye out for his special assistant coaching guest on the Boundary Corner, and Mike Burnop. Tomorrow's the Hump Day edition. We'll get Keon Brown's take on the title game, Carolina situation, the portal. We're going to hear about all sorts of things officially in the portal today. We'll keep an eye out for any more Tech players coming or going. Good luck, coaches. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's funny you say that, Wayne. I think that's something I'm going to reach out to, especially if it ends up being 100%. It did debunk it. I'd love to have somebody on that was part of it. That would be great. I mean, and they're just going to make more money the more they promote it. And the guy's going on certain channels now. I wonder if he'd come on this one. I mean, it could only help. But we'll see you tomorrow on the Wednesday edition. If you're around later today, 5 o'clock, Tech softball at Radford. Tech, I think, is number 11 now in the softball poll. So they come to Radford Softball Stadium. So if you come out, look up. I'll be in the press box to the far right. Come say hi. But that's today at 5. We have baseball. It moved up to 3. It's going to be chilly today. If the softball game goes long, it might be cold by the time they finish up tonight. But, yeah, so we got stick and ball going on, baseball and softball today. Baseball against ETSU at 3, and then Tech coming over at 5. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on the Wednesday edition. Please subscribe, like, share the channel, tell people to subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.